He turned a quirky film about ballroom dancing into a box office smash.
Well, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that Scott and Liz would be the next Pan Pacific Grand Prix Amateur 5 Dance Latin American champions.
Peace be with you, sir. Here comes my man. Mercutio!
He silenced the critics again, putting a new spin on Shakespeare.
Romeo!
He brought back the musical with the Oscar-nominated Moulin Rouge. And then headed to the outback for the epic Australia. Today on Talk Asia, we travel to Sydney.
Now we're going to the private place. Unfortunately, the cameras can't follow us.
And pay a house call on filmmaker Baz Luhrmann.
Is that when you fell in love with movies?
Totally. I mean, the rat of the crappy Bell and House straight 8 projector used to get me going.
Baz, you are one of the film directors of this country who have really helped put Australia on the map.
Well, thank you. I guess we've done our bit.
Are you proud?
Well, you never, I mean, that word proud, I never feel that about anything, actually. I never feel like, wow.
But when you look...
No, and I mean that, I'm not being falsely modest or anything like that. I recognise that we have a particular storytelling aesthetic. I tell you what I am kind of proud about. I get a thrill out of the fact that our aesthetic, our art, has had an immense ongoing influence. And if you talk to graphic artists, if you talk to filmmakers, right, whatever the commenters say, actually, if you go to filmmakers, other people in the arts, there's been a direct influence of our work on creativity in general, and I'm proud of that.
Can you believe that it was 45 degrees yesterday and today?
No, but still, it's incredibly sunny and shiny. This is a visual effect. Isn't it amazing? This is magic of cinema. I thought I'd get the special effects guys to show you.
It's fantastic. I can't believe you got the rain machine operating.
The sun's actually pouring down over here, and that's what we call a mat. That's a key mat that's been dropped in like that. We've had to put the rain on the water.
It's amazing.
It's not even there.
It is,
and
yeah.
this seagull's not real either. It's a trained seagull, and I'm going to get it to fly away. Right? Okay, that's good. Fly away, bird. Have that seagull shot.
Oh, let's get out of the rain.
Recast.
Oh, very good. You are considered one of the world's most creative experimental filmmakers.
Well, thank you. I didn't know if I should be.
Did you set out to become that?
No, but from a very early age, I think it's a paradox, Anna, because I try not to think about these things. You know, my job is to really think about everybody else's character, everybody else's story. But I would be dishonest if I didn't say that I think as one gets on, and I'm getting on, you become conscious of your own journey. And I think that without being too self-conscious about it, I clearly am a fabulist. And what I mean by that, or have been a fabulist, and the definition of that, some would say that a fabulist is a liar, but that's the root word. What it really means is a fabulist, a teller of stories. And I think as a little kid in the middle of nowhere, in a tiny country town, I had no problem taking the truth, but imagining the big story, the big myth, the big adventure. I just go, wouldn't it be great if? And I always think, well, that'll be easy, that'll be no big deal, and that won't cause a stir. Next thing I find myself going down that road, causing a stir, and people saying, how experimental. So the short answer, Anna, and I've never given a short answer, the real short answer is, I did not set out to do that. I set out to live the life that I imagined, and I have been in pursuit of adventure. Stand by, and where, and here comes the Limoges. You're going to pan onto it? Where there, and oh, here comes the tea. Thanks, Lisa.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thanks a
Would you
lot.
like some tea? Can I pour you some?
Please, Anna, join me for this.
I'd love some
we've been
tea.
talking for an hour. We must need a tea break.
It's time for a tea break.
Cool.
Here, please.
Let me do the tea for you.
You pour it yourself. I mean, how does a boy from the bush become one of the world's most creative film directors?
You know, people have started to ask that a lot, actually. I mean, and I've always ignored it in my own way. When I say ignored it, I've gone like, well, of course, you know, because when I was a kid, I imagined it all. I mean, I thought I'd maybe be in a big building one day pouring you a cup of tea. But I imagined going to Paris. I imagined living in New York. I imagined, you know, and I probably had such a ridiculous sense of fantasy. Someone called it imagination, but it's really fantasy.
Now, your father,
Yeah.
you said a Vietnam veteran, but also ran a gas station.
With my mother.
And a movie theatre. Thank you very much.
Yes, that came about later because
Okay.
it came about through a tragedy in a very tiny town. The man who sold our petrol gasoline to us, he had the bulk supply of it. He also owned the cinema, and he was a portly fellow, and he died one day. And Dad, who had threaded the Bell and Howell during the Navy, he was a naval SEAL, the equivalent of a SEAL. In Australia, we call them a clearance diver. Yeah. He knew how to do it. Sylvia said, "Oh, Lenny, can you come down and help me?" Next thing, I'm sitting in the bio box, and just, you know, and Dad made home movies. I mean, he gave me my 8mm. His 8mm Bolex was like the most majestic, magical, you know, it would have been what a lightsaber is to a kid today, you know. I just went like, my God, it makes movies.
Is that when you fell in love with movies?
Totally. I mean, the rat of the crappy Bell and Howell straight 8 projector, projecting films from Sydney, like the sound of that machine used to get me going.
I believe that you enjoyed observing people at a very young age, with your father running a gas station. You used to obviously work there,
Yeah, I
and
sure
that
did.
you were invisible to these people who kind of came through.
Yeah, what I mean is the gas station itself was like an island, and the variety of humanity that would stop at Lenny's gas station, and each person had a story. So whether they were a family arguing, whether they were an illicit love affair, Hare Krishnas trying to convert people, the Hells Angels biker gang were regulars, gypsies in those days. I believe I saw the Bee Gees. Now, if you're the, you know, 10-year-old kid pumping gas, you're invisible. They're like, imagine yourself, you get out of a country gas station, you're in the middle of an argument, I don't know, with your partner. You go, we're not going back to Sydney until blah, 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 blah. Look, I'm telling you, Anna, I've told you a million times. You know, the kids pumping. I mean, you're invisible. So I wasn't invisible because I lacked personality.
I don't think you lack personality,
Well,
or ever
but
have.
the thing is that it was amazing what you saw.
Of course. You met your partner, Catherine Martin, in 1987.
That is right. That's probably right, yep.
She is not only your life partner, but your creative partner.
Yeah.
It's a very unique partnership that you have.
Well, to us, it doesn't seem unique. I have to say it's all we've ever known. Yeah. So to us, it's completely normal. And people say that's really unusual. We go like, yeah, how bizarre.
No! I don't want this! Don't want this!
What do you want?
What do I want? I'll tell you what I want. I want 10 railings to walk in here right now and say, Pam Short's broken both her legs and I want to dance with you!
Pam Short's broken both her legs, and I want to dance with you.
That was unexpected.
Strictly Ballroom, your first feature film.
Yeah.
A romantic comedy based on the world of ballroom dancing, which your mother, of course, was a ballroom dancing teacher.
I was a ballroom dancer.
And you were a ballroom dancer.
My sister was a ballroom dancer. My brothers were ballroom dancers.
So it grossed $80 million at the box office. Were you surprised it was such a hit?
There was one moment when reality came smashing through on that journey. One moment we get very lucky. We managed to get a distributor locally after pounding the pavement at Cannes, not being able to get the finance. Years go by, we've got the money. Off we go. We make the movie. I've made Strictly Ballroom. We screen it to the first distributor who had one cinema here for it in Sydney. He leaves the cinema. I won't name names. I throw up. I was so nervous about the screening. What happens is the guy who sees the movie runs from the cinema, says not only is it the worst film he's ever seen, wonderful Pat Thompson, who, by the way, dies before she realises that posthumously she wins Best Actress at the Australian AFIs.
I couldn't throw all that away on a dream. We had to survive.
For that performance, he says, she'll never work again, you've destroyed her career, and we're withdrawing the one cinema you've got. My little movie is dead in the water.
So what happened?
We're dead. Myself, Catherine Martin, CM, Bill Marin, our design associate, and I, we've all got this really long hair in those days, and we drive up to Queensland, and we stay at his family's place. We've got a caravan in a caravan park, and the phone rings. Me, and Bill's mum comes out, and she's got a bucket on her head, a plastic bucket, because coconuts keep falling and killing people. And she hands me the bucket and she says, oh, Baz, there's a guy from France. There's a guy from France on the phone. She's a lovely woman, Shirley. But it's a phone in the... So I take the bucket. I'm on the phone, and my name is Pierre Rission. I am from the Cannes Film Festival. And I want to say to you that I will give you a screening in Cannes, 12 o'clock, but you have 1 hour to decide, because I don't want any of this going to Un Certain Regard, the other festival, and if you don't want it, then it's withdrawn. And I'm like, Pierre, very nice to be talking to you. Just give me a second. I go, I think that'll be all right. I'll see you there. Right? Bang. 12 o'clock screening. It's actually documented. There's 12 o'clock screening in Cannes, half the cinema full. When someone leaves a cinema in Cannes, the chairs go bap like that. So I hear a bap, I'm dying. End of the screening, spontaneous standing ovation, a crowd. They start to follow us down there, and I remember a security guard drags me out of the crowd and he says, Monsieur, from this day on your life will never be the same again. There's a second screening, unprecedented, the following night, full house, there's a riot, it's on video, they're pushing people back from the fence. By the following morning, we held the record for the most amount of sales ever in Cannes by an independent film. Goes on to win the Prix de Genève, and it's a bit like, when a moment like that happens, my life has been kind of that holiday that I've never come home from.
My lips, by thine my sin is purged.
And have my lips the sin that they have took?
Sin from my lips? O trespass sweetly urged, give me my sin again.